Hi guys, this is Haseeb from N8N and today we're going to be creating a support ticket agent. Let's get started. So for that, we will do a Gmail trigger that will read our emails and trigger this flow each time we receive a new email. Okay, so once that's done, let's then manually parse this email. Okay, once we set up the trigger, then we will extract the data from the email. So let's connect this. We will do a manual mapping of all input fields. So let's send an email and then let's run this flow. Okay, so urgent task. Okay, so send. Once that's sent, let's execute this workflow, which will get that email. Notice we have set this simplify to off. You want to do that so that we get more information. That way it's easier to parse. Then we extract what we need and then we get this output. Now let's use a code block to basically take all of that information, and what we will do with the code block is read through the email and specify whether it's urgent or not. We can use an AI block to do this as well, but we can use simple JavaScript and regex to do this as well, which lowers the cost of running this part. First, we take the subject, the body, and the email content of the email. Now, what we will do is basically define some keywords which will specify what type of email it is. So we will read through the email and using these keywords, we will define what type of email it is. So we have some keywords for urgent, billing, and technical. Now we have defined some defaults. We have a priority, category, our support email, and the time for response. Now we will go through urgent keywords and see if the email content includes these keywords. If it does, then we will automatically assign the priority and response time. Now we will do the same thing for billing and technical. So if it includes billing keywords, we will automatically assign the category of billing and then assign the billing email for our company. Then the same thing here for technical. Then we will generate a ticket ID. For that, we have a simple string and then we attach a random string next to it. Then we will return all of these fields. Now let's execute this step. Now you can see we get everything that we had initially, so the input.json. Then we also now get the ticket ID, the response time, the assignee, the category, and the priority. Now we will store this into a Google Sheet. For that, let's append a row in the sheet. Let's choose the sheet that we just created called support tickets, and then choose the first sheet and automatically map all of the columns. Now let's run, and there we go. So now we can see all of the data that we want is now stored in our Google Sheet. Now we want to also send an email back to the user. So whenever I send an email to support, I want a response from the support. It could be an automatic response. So that's something we're going to set up right now. So let's do that. So we will do a Gmail block and send a message. Now, in actuality, you want to use an STMP server to send emails from your custom domain, but for the case of simplicity, we're going to be using Gmail. Now let's start with the auto reply, right? We set up this block to take in the email of the user that send us the support ticket, generate a subject for them, and then generate a message. So we can see that we send them the ticket ID that we generated, a category, a priority, an expected time, and then the ticket ID for references in the new communications, and then we give them basically the whole email. Okay, so when we execute this step, you will see that we receive an email here. There we go. So now we get this email with our ticket ID and everything. Also want to send this ticket to our support staff. So for that, we will send another email. Okay, so this is how we will send them a support email where this is our support email. This could be passed in as an assignee that we set up in our code, but for the case of this video, I'm just gonna hard code it. We are going to give them a subject with our priority, the ticket, and the category. Then we are going to write the email itself. You can see that we have some errors in there, but for this case, I think we can just remove the received date. And okay, so from, we just want to pass in from that we have here. So just give me a second. Let's see. We can just go here and delivered to, delivered from. So we want to, okay, so we can just do, we can just remove this and add this. Great. So now we have our from email, the category of the email, and everything else. Now this is going to go to our support email. For this case, we have used the same email that we sent the support ticket from. So once we send, you will see that this will come through. There we go. So now we have our support email coming in. Once that's done, now what we can do is basically, if an email is super urgent, we can filter that out and send it twice to our support agent. So for that, what we will do is do an if block. Okay, so what this will do is check if the priority is high. If it is, then we can send another email. Send a message. And basically what we can do is we can just send it here. This is very, very urgent. Now we will just send it to the same email that we got it from. Now this will happen in the case if something gets a category of high. If it does, it will automatically send this through. Okay, so this is us creating a simple support ticket agent which takes in the emails that we got, filters them based on their urgency, sends an email to the user who generated the ticket to our technical team, and then if it's super urgent, sends another email to the technical team, making sure that that query is responded really quick. So as you can see, the setup is really simple. We can now add AI agent blocks to basically, instead of the code block, to have it more robust rather than being limited to the query that we set up in the code block. And instead of using Google Sheets, we can use our own CRM. That way we can have a two-way communication. If something is pending, we can keep it as pending. Whenever we change it to the ticket is resolved, we can then send a message to the user as well. So this pretty much wraps up us creating a simple support ticket agent. Thanks for watching.